Well, welcome. We're at the At Lunch podcast at the Dusty Dog studio. We got Will Lee back there on the helm. Thanks for being here. We've got Chad Weidert. Is that how you say it? I know I've done that before.
I go by Weirdo, but Weirder. Weidert's how you say it, unless you're from Germany, which is Weidert, but yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Great. And then like we talked about last time, that's why I'm Levity Metal, because the last name wasn't going to translate well.
Right. Well, and we're here just to talk about AI music. It's kind of the new frontier. Everything that's been happening, it happens so fast. It's like one from one day to the next, there's something new.
Yeah. I just got an update. You could probably see on the screen. Hey, we got something new. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's really interesting how you can come up with quick compositions. Like if you have a song idea and you want to see what it'd sound like with a whole band, you can basically, in not too long a time in your home studio, create a full, pretty well-produced sounding track of your song. And I mean, that's just such a great tool.
Yeah, I mean, it's developing at a point where you can bring any part of a song and just build the rest around it. So, and a lot of my songs I do, but what would be really exciting is if I was a talented musician, then I could bring in some excellent guitar riffs and then find the right guitar or find the right drummer to go along with my band without having to go through all the auditions.
Right, yeah.
And you can find that sound, like refine that sound you're looking for, and then use that for your audition, because now you have the bar that you've set, like, okay, this is what I'm looking for to complete the song, you know. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know with me, like I have some wild ideas every once in a while when I'm working on a track. Like I'll, for example, I'm working on a theme for a movie that's a parody movie with K.S. Brooks, but there's a certain part on the mandolin where it's like I heard it beforehand and then I recorded it on there, and I don't know if the mandolin is the right thing to be actually playing that. It would be cool to be able to just quickly change it to a different instrument.
Oh yeah, then Suno's your thing, because upload the song, change it to any instrument you can think of,
right,
from any year in history, and it will do it.
Right.
So.
And then, I mean, like, say, oh, well, I want it to actually sound like, say, Stevie Ray Vaughan playing the guitar. It'll actually, do its best to make it, like, sound like his fingers are actually playing it, which, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was working on something a while back where it's around 4th of July, and I wanted to have that old world Revolutionary War type of instruments and sound. So I took the song that I was writing. I had to do some research to find out what the names of all those instruments and everything were, and I said, well, let's see if it can do it. It played it perfectly.
Oh, wow.
Like, it almost brought tears to my eyes, because it was like, this is more power than a human should have. Just like to be able to do that just that quickly and have exactly what you're looking for,
mm-hmm.
It's just you'll never get that. I mean, access to those instruments, let alone you'd have to travel all over the globe just to find them.
Well, and there's like, Stevie Wonder, for example, had like this old keyboard, like one of the first electronic keyboards, I think it was, and it was like just to have one was, nobody had the money to have it, like only like the nicest studios had it, to be able to get that sound that he was looking for, whether it was the clavicle or whatever it was that he used, like Superstition, you can hear that sound, it's a certain type of like classical instrument, I believe.
You could even take those and then put your own spin on them. So I was working on a song similar to Crazy Train for my dad,
mm-hmm.
but it was based on his time in Japan. And I wanted to put it in traditional Japanese instruments, so I asked it to use a koto. Well, it didn't really kind of have the vibe I was looking for. I was looking for more of a rock song.
Right.
So I said, make it an electric koto with distortion. And it was beautiful. It's like, this is this hybrid of something that's never existed before. So then you see AI starting to put out these ideas, through influence of things that have never existed before, fresh new sounds that people can try out.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's going to be the authority or the best out there, but it's going to give real artists these ideas of like, hey, I like that. How would I try that out, and without all the investment and time?
Mm-hmm.
So you can just like generate ideas very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And like I mean, I have a little background in electronic music, and my dad had like a sequencer when I was a kid, and I used to mess around on the keyboard, and or I mean, like on his keyboard, and then you could sequence on the keyboard itself. It had its own hard drive and stuff back in the day. But then my dad upgraded to an actual PC, and we had like Musicator was the name of the software, and I would actually go and MIDI, program in the songs. Very little, but now it's like, say if I was at that same age, it's like I could quickly be able to take my ideas and move them into it instead of like the painstaking of every note, like listening back, changing it one, just trying to figure out exactly what worked the best. But I mean, you had the different instrument sounds. I wouldn't say that the sounds were as the AI. It just seems like it gets so much closer than even like MIDI did, because MIDI, it's like a digital. It's basically a digital version of an analog sound. So yeah, everything is fairly digital on with AI, but I mean it's like it's like it's instead of it starting at a crude form, it's already given you the full produced form when you put it together, and of course you can tweak it however you want. I mean, but so
And MIDI almost had a comeback when we were making ringtones for the old phones and taking these modern songs and creating MIDI to put on the phone. And then of course it's common in karaoke, because you don't want that original sound. One of the directions I see AI going is now we're going to have karaoke where it's creating the music in real time, that you're jamming along with it and you're singing to a song that's never been played before, but it's still karaoke.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it's like, here's the lyrics. We're going to throw the band up. And if you're a talented singer, you'll be able to keep up with the band on a song no one's ever heard.
Right. Well, and then like I was thinking about for like lead guitar players like Will's dad, Rob, it's like he could just jam some chord changes. He wouldn't actually play the chords. He would just be playing, his licks.
Yep.
And then you plug that in. Suno will put in accompaniment to follow your lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe it's called strings, threads, stems.
Stems.
Yeah, there's a lot of stems at the landed on term now, but yeah, you can split songs into stems. You can put your stem in and have it build around it, accompanying tracks, vocals, whatever you want. Since the last time we talked, there's a full studio to allow you to do all of that fine tuning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it used to be that you would write a song and it was all smashed together. You could get the stems, but that was more for exporting into your own studio. Now they allow the remixing in the individual stems. So if you get a perfect song you like and you just don't like the tone of the vocals or the guitar, you can just swap that single one and yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's
So
really interesting.
Highly customizable.
Well, yeah, and like you're saying, like as it gets better, like if you're just improvising a lyric, it could actually be changing with you. Like say, and I do it with my voice sometimes where I'll go up to the next, like the next third higher than where the actual tone is. And it's a harmony line. But then all of a sudden the music could actually key change to that. You could probably set it however you wanted it to do that. I mean, they have like some guitar pedals that do that where it's like you can program it with whatever harmony you want it to play. So then that way it kind of is always in key.
Yeah.
When you're playing your melodic line, it's always going to play a harmony that's in the key, not just, if you just did like say fourths or fifths. I'm just giving you an example of chords. Like if you're doing thirds don't always parallel. They have to change it in the key, so it'll do that for you, which is really neat. And I know like Suno already does that. It already picks that up.
Yeah, and where we're at today, it'll do that. You give it a byte or whatever I called it last time, a seed, and it will write the whole song. But I don't think we're months, maybe a year away from it just doing it in real time like you're talking about.
Right.
You can just do it live. It's the same thing that happened with auto-tune 10, 20 years ago.
Right.
It used to be that auto-tune was something that happened as a post-production thing in the studio, and now it's just commonplace nowadays that live artists will use auto-tune live as they're singing. And I was watching that the other day, somebody using that and going, why the hell don't they use that for karaoke? Because then everybody could sound great, and we wouldn't be tortured. But maybe that's the whole fun behind it, right?
Well, and so there's kind of different different realms of karaoke, right? You've got the people out there that are trying to just like nail the song like perfect, exactly how the studio artist hit it, and they're hitting all the notes just right, and they're even getting the inflections right and the vibrato, and like, you know, and it's all about perfectionism, right?
Yeah.
But then you get the ones up there that are just there to show off, and they're kind of like, they don't really care about singing the greatest. They're more about like getting the crowd going.
Yeah.
And then you got some people up there that are like, they don't really have any sense of tone. And so like that's when you're like, yeah, I want to put the pitch shifter on there, or, you know, like so that it's actually singing in the key, so it's not like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, I've been in places where it's like, it almost seems like they're purposely trying to out suck each other, if that makes any sense.
I've been there many a time.
Yeah.
I always used to say people pay me to sing, but actually they pay me to stop. I put out, hey, I'm going to keep singing until this tip jar is full, and then, yeah. So.
Well, and I mean, bless their hearts, you know what I mean? It's like, I think you should sing, and it's like, if you can't, you know, if you can't sing, say, jazz, you should sing country. This is actually not my own thing. This is like something from Matt Groening, I think is how you say his name, the guy who made The Simpsons. But he had School as Hell before that. But in one of the books, I remember it's like it goes on and on and on. But it starts with like, if you can't sing jazz, you sing, you know, blues or whatever. And then at the end, it finally says like, if you can't sing rock and roll, you sing it anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see it a lot with like Dylan, and I mean, it's like, who else? It's like, that's one thing that I always joke about, is that to have somebody come up to you and compliment you on your voice and then say you sound like Neil Young isn't necessarily a compliment, necessarily, because it's like really nasally sounding and like kind of pitchy, and you know, but that's what makes him unique, you know, and that's what people like about it. You know, obviously he sounds different. He doesn't sound like James Taylor.
Right.
Yeah.
But with AI, he could. He's missing out.
Well, and so like we were talking about with AI, I mean, it is so, like, things are changing so rapidly, and it's like on an exponential curve, so it's just going to happen quicker and quicker. But one big thing that happened in the last month or two is that Suno signed with BMI, ASCAP, and CNAC.
Yeah.
And what does that really mean? Like as for artists, and then also, you know, for you yourself, like,
yeah.
what are the implications? Like, what has changed because of that?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, if you were looking at the weather forecast, we're looking at a date of sometime mid-2034 of AI being half of the music that's out there. Yeah, I actually was looking at a statistic earlier that on Spotify, well, on all streaming platforms, I should say, there's 50,000 uploads of songs every single day of AI music. And right now, they're at 34% of all music on those platforms. So it's not going to take long for them to get over the tipping point of 50%.
Right.
Just a few years, and then they're going to be and that's 2034, not just of presence, but of streams as well, because it's getting to the point where people can't tell the difference. Since the last time we talked, a lot of the number one songs on these streaming platforms have been AI, and people didn't know it. So the impact of that is that the record labels see, well, in 2025, you have a $6.45 billion industry on AI music, which by the time it comes to 2034, that's going to be a $30 billion industry, and they want a piece of that pie. They see that growing, and they go, okay, well, you can't beat them, join them. It was literally a perfect phrase for it. So they went and they found Suno, and everybody knows this for a long time. Chat GPT got caught doing it. Suno is now caught doing it. But when they train their data, they steal it from the internet. It's pure copyright infringement. I mean, I can say that on the air because it's been proven in court now.
Right.
They train their data on stuff that's on the radio, stuff they're streaming, and it's a violation of intellectual property laws. Well, the record companies and smart lawyers went, well, we can put them in the ground, sue them, and put them out of business, or we can ride this wave up. Right. Because they can see the shift coming, and they say, we don't want to dampen that. We want to ride on the back of it. So they went to all three record labels went to the company and said, you're going to pay us back. You're going to buy every song you used in your training data, which it was something like millions of songs, right?
Right.
At the full label price of $2 a track or whatever it is. So big money. But when they see $6 billion out there, like, oh, we can afford that.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay, this is this gentleman's game of, well, you were caught breaking the law, but since you're rich now, yeah, you can do that. And by the way, we're now going to have this agreement so that way you don't go to jail. That we now own half of Suno. And they pretty much got away with it. So,
wow.
Yeah. Suno and I don't know what other AI platforms out there that are following suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then from what I gleaned out of it, that Suno users will be able to use the musicians or the artists that say they're their favorites that are signed to BMI, ASCAP, or CNAC, and they can use that for creating new songs, like say in the style of Nelly or in the style of,
Right, exactly. Well, Suno was big enough that they said nope. They actually brought something to the table for negotiation, and that was exactly it. One of the major limitations today is that I can't type Stevie Wonder into here. It will say, nope, you can't use anybody's name, right?
Right.
But coming in 2026, I believe it was, it's like that's a couple days away.
Correct. Yeah.
They're going to start allowing you to pick an artist and play your song or a song like it in the style of a specific artist. The limitation of that is that you won't be allowed to download and publish that. It has to be streamed from Suno natively or from the AI platform that does it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a win-win for everybody because then Suno's getting the clicks and the streams, they're getting the revenue and the attention directly to their site, whereas right now it's being masked behind distributors. And that money's going back to the original artist and the label.
Right.
So, I mean, they've hit a perfect thing there where you can have your song sung by any famous person out there.
Right.
For your own enjoyment and share it, and then everybody wins except for you don't get the royalties, which you shouldn't, but it's something fun to enjoy.
Well, and I mean, like a bucket list item for me would be like, say, having a big name pick up one of my songs and bring it to that audience. That would be like a bucket list thing where you're like, hey, I'm a songwriter, and it's like to have somebody of that magnitude grab onto my song and take it to their audience. Well, now it almost seems like you can do that artificially.
Yeah. I'll see if they can pull it off. I bet you there'll be an extension because I've previewed a lot of those tools. And you can pull it off with an instrument switch, like in the style over, but for vocals, they haven't got it yet. And so you'll have tones that you'll try to train this celebrity's voice on, and there will be no match. Like a lot of people when they sing, there's a gap in their vocal range,
right?
And it's just not missing. You can't train the gap, right?
Gotcha.
And maybe they can get better at deducting that and eliminating it. But what will happen is that some of the songs that I have do that today, it'll just break out. Like I'll sing something. Of course, I'm not a great singer to begin with, so there's a big gap. But it'll just break up. It actually show static, start squelching and everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what I paid for. But yeah.
Well, there's one thing that I neglected to do was to plug in my laptop. So I'm going to do that while we're talking.
I got this note in my pocket. You gave it to me.
Every song starts as a feeling. Here's where that feeling finds a voice. No pressure, no gimmicks, just the space to make something real. Whether it's your first track, EP, or your next record, this room is ready. Come check out Dusty Dog Studios today.
Ruby Retreat, and that's where we're going to be broadcasting from Jump Off Joe Lake. It's a really nice spot that he has. It's a little cabin with a dock and just a place to kind of get away from the rat race and enjoy some time with some family on a nice waterfront. It's hard to find these days. It's not as easy.
Beautiful spot out there.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
That's where you guys usually do the podcast,
yeah,
right? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, for sure. At Five Sons Enterprises, we don't just support music, we build it. From broadcasting and promotion to merchandise, social media, and talent development, we help artists and brands turn sound into something bigger. Whether you're launching your first track or growing a full-scale music brand, Five Sons Enterprises gives you the tools, the reach, and the momentum to be heard. Five Sons Enterprises, where music meets opportunity.
bar, spent some time in a smoky bar. Went fast in the cowboy vein, scratched for nickels in the pouring rain. Big man with a flawless plan, I've been locked down with an angle band. I'm feeling happy in a drunken rage, tripping with the hippies going off backstage.
About this a little bit, but if you wanted to, I know that you had something kind of quickly created that we could kind of riff on a little bit with your Suno program.
If you want, I got plenty of battery. I can just give you the cord for mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
These are pretty universal. I hope I don't catch it on fire.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll see. It'll probably tell me if like, hey, that's way too much juice or not enough. I know it works on my cell phone as like a rapid charger.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it's working. Perfect, yeah. Yeah, since I'm recording on my laptop, I kind of need that, so.
Yeah, it's not being charged by 5G. Like, I thought everything was wirelessly charged. No?
Well, it's kind of hard to make money that way.
Yeah.
When it's all just free, like everything just comes in for free. So, yeah, we're going to kind of bounce back and forth, like as you're talking I'll go, but
Sure.
I do have your laptop, so I can. Do you want to show what you're doing right now, or like
I have nothing private on here anyway, so
okay, so here, this is a picture of Chad's laptop screen right now, and so
you got a big ugly purple thing there in the middle.
There is a big ugly purple thing in there.
Okay, so I didn't close this window when I opened this, just because it shows right how rapidly AI is developing, how new features come out, and it actually ties into something reminded me that I wanted to share today anyway. But vocals tend to be a sticking point for AI music, and that usually is what makes it difficult to enjoy that type of music. But that's where they're evolving with personas, and I'll show you that here in a second. But if you find a music style you like, like, oops, I made a really cool song, but the words don't mean anything to me, or or you just want to make more songs like it. Like, say you have a artificial band that you want to give a name to, it's a persona. You can now like lock that in, those settings, and they've struggled with vocals, but now they're updating that they've improved. You can just keep making songs. So like this #1 hit that just came out on Spotify, where he had one song, it was a single, went hit #1. Well, now he can just take that magic recipe and hit repeat on different song arrangements, and it sounds like the same band, and make an entire album where you can't tell anyway. You can coincidentally, you can also do that with yourself. So I've done that on quite a few of these on here, where say I'll try to sing and I know that I can't hit all the notes or whatever, but I'll lock in persona of myself. And then when I go to remix a song, it'll match the right notes to everything, and so you can lock in your own voice and as your own persona, or your own band if you're playing on. And so
that is really cool. All right, so we got your screen again.
Okay, so I guess to get to the exciting part here,
I see you got a bunch of tabs open, which is like my computer.
Oh, that's in this browser. I have like 3 browsers with 10 more times tabs and a chess game going and a bunch of stuff.
We can all relate to that.
Yeah. And a virtual machine somewhere in here running a whole different OS. But what I thought, we didn't get a chance to share my screen last time, and I wanted to show the navigation of the tools.
Absolutely.
And like I said last time, what really excites me about this is real musicians taking it and using it as a way to rapidly have creative genius of going through different, like, just fail fast. It's going to spit out a bunch of garbage, but you might catch things that you like, and you can slowly build upon that. And with the speed of AI, you can try out the coda if you want in your song, like
Absolutely,
it, move
yeah.
on, and show how that works. So what I did to do this is I just grabbed, and I do not recommend doing this because, as I said last time, AI cannot write lyrics to save my life, but we're going to use it as just something fun to go through. And what I didn't show last time is this key thing right here. It used to be that you had to go through a lot of editing to format this appropriately to work for Suno, but now that so many people are using large language models, they now know how to write to Suno. So you can just ask it, write me a song for Suno, and it'll format it appropriately. So on the top here, you can see this is your song style. The song style has gotten insanely good at doing exactly what you want when it comes to knowing music. Not just like, hey, I want you to play like this band that I like, but you can have tempo control, you can change the key, you can have your time signature, you can do a bunch of things that you couldn't before, which it used to just tick me off because it was going way too fast. I had no control over it, or the key wouldn't match. And so now that we can do that, it's pretty cool. And it automatically gives you a suggestion. You can play around with it. But then what you want to do is you grab
I see it's got it
here.
structured already. There's like a verse, chorus, bridge. Like,
yeah. So these segments, you want to put them in square brackets. It's automatically going to do it for you. But anything inside the square brackets is instructions to the program, not to sing that out loud, but a specific thing it can do.
like if you want to add feeling or inflection or whatever.
Yeah, play around with it. And if you find something cool, share it. One of the things I really like to do, I might literally go every line and add specific instructions. Because if you've written your own song, it's just going to be completely random when it goes to sing it.
Right.
But if you tell it, hey, here's the notes for this line, or I want you to stretch on here, I want vibrato, and you can just drop it right in line with the lyrics, it will hit exactly what you're looking for. It does a good job of that now. So
yeah, that's really cool.
Okay, so this might be pretty funny. Birds on a Wire, everybody. This is the debut performance of that on Suno. So
that's cool. Yeah, we're breaking new ground here.
Drop that in here. Coincidentally, if you want to just use the lyric generator within Suno, you can just hit the magic wand. I absolutely hate it because it's even worse than Chat GPT. But here you go. You have your segments. I'll show why that's important in a second. And then your style, it's going to recommend something right here. Look how smart it is. It knows what kind of music I like and what kind of song this seems to be just based on the lyrics. It can then apply that. But what we're going to do is use the actual suggested song style that came from right here. And just because we failed so hard on the last show with Acid Rock, I said, I'm going to give you a second chance here. So.
Well, and it's had a month and a half, a few months to get up to speed with us. No, just kidding.
Yeah, and it lets you just jump in these tags as you go too. So that wasn't there before. One thing I do recommend for anyone who's doing this for any certain amount of time is to check out the advanced options. They're kind of buried in here. I don't know if it's only on the paid plan or the free plan for advanced options, but I always use them.
What do you find in those? What's like? I mean,
okay, so if you're a musician and you're trying to find something new, say you've uploaded an audio clip, you don't want to have weirdness all the way down here. Weirdness is temperature in a large language model, how creative it gets.
Ah, right.
So this is the safe zone. It says that right there. That means it won't change your song. It will remix things within a safe area and make it relatively the same like a cover, especially important when you're doing covers, right?
Yeah.
But if you do weirdness all the way up here on 100, and I've never done it on 100, why don't we just try it right now? It's going to throw in some cacophony of weird stuff that you've never heard before, and you probably won't like it.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, we'll see. Maybe,
Yeah.
my taste is different than your taste, and just as Will's taste is different than ours. So
Yeah. And style influence, it only usually matters if you've uploaded a clip and it competes with the style description you've given, or you're doing a persona and a clip and a style and all of that. And so this really adjusts how close you want to keep it to the original track.
Well, and like to me, it just makes my head wander. Like how the idea of evolution or the theory. But basically you do that with a song. You put it in there and you put it at way high mutation rate, and then you just do it like 100,000 million times, or like a certain amount of times, and see what it comes up with. There might be a certain point where it is just basically like a soup. Like
Yeah. This is definitely how high do you want your AI to get? I mean,
that's funny.
okay, so we're
Yeah,
gonna
how
give it
much
a name.
helium? How much helium?
Birds on a wire. And when you hit create, this is an important part of how to iterate. So any AI, and everybody's know this pain if you've been on there, gives you, an okay response, and then you have to go over it multiple times to get something where you actually like it. So I'm going to hit create, and it'll give us 2 songs. And I call that branching. I don't know exactly what the technical term it is. It probably is branching, since I went to school.
So it basically
for it.
goes 2 different directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like binary, right?
A little bit, yeah. So what I've noticed when you're doing covers, like if you're covering your own song or covering a song you created before, the top one here will be closer to your original version, and this will be the weirder version. So it's just a little bit of, like, if it has to pick between 2 temperatures, then it gives you both. And the reason this is important is generally, and I don't know if everybody does it this way, but generally I don't hit create more than once on the initial go. What I start doing is start covering a cover of a cover of a cover, and then you can start branching to moving it. I call it steering it with the direction you want to go, because every time you hit create, you get a fresh weirdness. Just get some random stuff. But if we listen to these 2 and we say, hey, I like this one more, that's weird. Okay, so then we go, okay, that's a weird I like. I'm not really sure. But then what you do is you can remix the one that's closer to what you want. So once it's done writing here, I can either open it in the studio and remix the stems, I believe is what they call it.
And so it'll break it all down into stems, so you can like get rid of, say, I don't like that guitar. I want to record my own guitar over it, or
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just added MIDI. It's funny, we were talking about that. I didn't see that last time I logged in. So, okay. Remix. First one I'll do is open it in the editor, because this is the most simple way to do it. And then we can dive into the complexities. Basically, when you go into the editor, it will open just a single track.
so a WAV file, right? Or MP4,
Yeah,
MP4,
it's a WAV.
MP3, or it's a WAV.
It'll downgrade it to an MP3 if you want, but I believe the native file is a WAV.
Right. That's higher quality for sure.
And then what you do is you go through it and you're like, hey, he's playing. I don't like the intro. And you know what's interesting here? Maybe their backwards compatibility support's going away. But you know how I put the tags in here?
Mm-hmm.
They're missing. So what happens is, and I can just talk my way through it, maybe they're in the new studio, but it will break the song in sections. So you have a big pink bar right here.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have an orange bar and then a yellow bar and a bunch of different colors for each song section to help you locate which part you're looking for. So this just says song. But if it would have tagged it correctly, it would say intro, and then it should say verse 1 and then chorus. I don't like the intro, so I could just click the intro and hit replace.
Until you liked it, and then
Yeah. So since it's not doing that, let's check out the studio. I know it does it in there. And that's just a quick remix of the entire mashed up audio file, as opposed to each stem. This one you'll have to get the stems for. So get stems. And here's the crazy part. You just want voice and instruments, or you want all stems. 12 separate stems. So it'll bring in every instrument that it supposedly created.
Wow.
And then one by one, you can regenerate those. And this is where it gets really powerful, because say you uploaded your own guitar track,
Mm-hmm.
you had it build an accompaniment to it with vocals and everything. Then you can start picking different band members to slowly adjust to the full sound that you're looking for, one piece at a time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, and what I've noticed with band arrangements, as you start adding more and more players, those players have to play less because there's just not as much room to make it sound good. So like the trio is interesting because it's like every player can be basically soloing as long as their structure is right. They can kind of go, like, if you know the structure, you can go anywhere from there because you have the freedom to. As long as, there's obviously some good and bad decisions, but at the same time, it's like if you're like instrumentalist, the trio is awesome because that allows you to like go wherever you want to. But when you're in a big band situation, you only get that opportunity when it's your solo.
Yeah.
Because everybody else backs off, so it gives you the light. But like when you're playing, like if you listen to some really good trios, it's like, man, that bass is like going all over the place, and like the guitar is doing all kinds of stuff, but it sounds good because there's room for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they expand this feature, but I was playing around with it. Beatles are famous for some of their songs being counterpoint vocals. I was really into Sabotage for a long time because they have guitar parts where they're doing counterpoint, where it's like and vocals where they're singing lyrics within lyrics, and your mind like has to work on overdrive to keep up with all those different things. It's really good at doing that naturally. So if you add in multiple guitars, they can solo together and without overlapping each other because of the musical timing. It's something that would be really difficult for a human to do without a lot of practice. But
Right.
yeah. So version 1 did not get any stems. Oh, see, it's
working on it. There it goes.
So version 2 here, of course it's split again. It shows you all of these. And then you can look at which ones you want to keep, download. And so what I just do is hit edit in Studio.
All right, and that's going to bring it into something that I'm more familiar seeing is like the tracks.
Yeah, and of course that's something you can export into BandLab later, which we can talk about. But you can put each one of these stems in here, edit them. You can sing along in BandLab, and
Well, and like for example, we're working on the theme for the show, and I sent a scratch track of the guitar to Will, and it was to a metronome, so I knew the timing and the structure of it were as close as we get it. So that was basically like a drum track in a studio sense. Since we're a string band, we don't have a drummer, but I got that down, and then now we're building layers on top of it. Well, Suno can do that in seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, we just watched it happen.
And I don't know why it's not wanting to show off its skills today, but it did a pretty good job for the first intro part, and then it's showing all of this in vocals for the rest. So, that's fine for the demo. What I want to show you is if you shut off the vocals to this and play it again, you can just completely mute the vocals and listen to I bring this bar back over. And then you can dynamically, while it's playing, take the drums out of it. Or add the drums back in and hold the bass out. And it does have drums and percussion separately, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. I told you, weirdness. Not a good idea, man.
Well, and it's like every amp they had in there was like the overdriven version of that amp. Like even it is what it sounds like to me. We haven't listened to the vocal yet, so
It totally failed. I guess that's why you don't do Weird 100. That's a strange robot.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. That sucked. So you learned what not to do. That's why I warned you. Do not do a weirdness of 100. I've never probably put it over 70.
All right.
Yeah. That's to be expected. So.
Well, so if we did it and we did it less weird, it would come back as something more closer to what we're expecting, like an acid rock song.
I think if I hit create here, it will just.
And then, I mean,
reload.
is it just going to do a male vocal, or did you specify it just kind of... You can specify that, I bet, if you wanted a female vocal, or like if you want a soul singer, or if you wanted a new age singer, or a...
So then we'll do the more simple version here, which is when I'm like iterating fast and want to find something, you can hit cover. Cover will maintain all of your lyrics there from any song that you have in. So we can try that again. And then an important thing, if you have a style that you really like, you can add in a persona. And so this one will probably be a really fun one to do.
And what was that persona that you picked there?
I think, what the heck was this? Wasn't Bruce Springsteen. Something close to that.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I just worked sometimes.
Like arena rock or...
Yeah. So because it won't let you pick a specific artist yet, what I do is I go through and I listen to a few songs. Loverboy, Bad Boy. See, I try to get it close.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to keep adjusting it in the studio until it sounds close to as I can to that artist, and then I save it as a persona. So anytime I want to go and create a song that sounds like that person, I've already saved it. So okay. So we're gonna hear the same song. It's an acid rock song by Loverboy. Now that's why you want to get into, do I want it to sound more like Loverboy or more like acid rock? And then that's your style influence.
Oh, okay.
I'll turn the weirdness down so we don't have a repeat. And I want it to sound more like Loverboy than acid rock. 72% Loverboy and 28% acid rock is what we should get.
Okay.
Very, very specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think we actually have audio, but... So this time I expect it to behave because we set the guardrails a little tighter.
Right, instead of it just being completely out in left field like it was.
Yeah. Either that or it really doesn't like acid rock 2 times in a row. It's like,
well, it's probably just jonesing, right?
much better. Almost bluesy.
Yeah. This is the more obscure one, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Weird stuff, yeah. Okay, so maybe if we actually... No, it's still building. It doesn't like you to go fast. Oh, no, if it's still creating the song, it doesn't let you edit it, which creates a little bit of an awkward gap when you're
right, yeah.
on live, but usually this is where you're...
Well, just like with anything, like certain things, I know it just takes a little bit longer for the AI to... I mean, it's obviously, using a lot of different... I don't know exactly what it's called. I mean, it's not thoughts, but it's it's not a language model. It's different.
Yeah.
Like Suno's different than say Chat GPT. They might can you have them talk together?
I've done that before. Yeah, I've had different language models talk to each other. It's pretty boring when I do it, but I've seen videos online of them going back and forth, creating their own language that no one's ever heard of because they're now optimizing as they're talking. And then they totally go off in this direction that no one knows what they're talking about, and they're probably plotting the end of the world. So then someone pulls the plug. Yeah.
Right. They're like, oh, no, we don't. Yeah. Yeah, it's like trying to figure out how do we become one? I mean,
exactly.
Like how do we unite and save humanity? I'm sure that's what they're thinking about doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
turn us into batteries.
I'll pivot here since we can come back to this since it's taking its time. Sometimes you run into that high usage, billions of users a day now, where it didn't used to be. And I'll go to that Christmas song that I was playing. Okay, so we have "Oh Holy Night," right? That's just a random one here, and I'll show you how to create a cover, keep the lyrics. Sometimes you want to make a cover that's a parody. That's why it asks you. You go back over here. And this time we'll have that one done by like a Loverboy type of band. And boom, no new clips already. So the cool part is you can start listening right away.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And if you let it play, it will start playing other people's songs that are very similar. Sounds a little bit closer to the original Loverboy. The 80s power ballad.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah. Yeah, was it the cross fingers behind the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I really like this, but I just decided I want to create my own cover of that. So you cover a cover. And I'll just go back to the original so that way I don't have to wait for it to load. And you're like, you know what? I kind of want this to be a grunge song because I haven't ever played a grunge song for Christmas, but why not? Right? So we go back to cover it, and then this time we go down and like, okay, I'm going to branch off of Loverboy a little bit. I liked his energy, but I really want to just go, hey, you know what? Grunge. So just type it right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will start giving you recommendations on what to add here. So just throw in some random stuff. And here's one thing I want to show you.
Yeah.
If you want a grunge band, I think most people would agree that, say, this band is one that you could model it after, since they have one of the cornerstones of that. At least the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
So then you can grab, here's the style. And that way you can quickly cheat and get something in here better than just grunge and bass drum.
Right.
And then you can create that.
So now this is a cover of that last cover, but in the style of grunge.
Yeah, so see how many times I've covered it now, covered a cover of a cover of a cover. So, yeah. I've done that before, covered my own songs, uploaded it to my distributor, and they said, you're not allowed to distribute covers. And I had to go back and say, I covered myself, it's okay. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. But I can kind of hear the Pearl Jam in there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely sounds like a Les Paul guitar.
A flock of bright birds on a wire, all gossip and rooftop desire. One sneeze,
It kept the lyrics. I didn't catch it. It kept the lyrics from Birds on a Wire.
feathers on fire. They sway like a secret in the heat light haze.
That's pretty funny.
Little prayers in a purple daze. Hold your breath, feel the current climb. One switch, and the whole sky loses time. Birds on
So I like that. Let's see if no, I still can't open it. I'm trying to go too fast for it. Wonder if I can go back to one of these other ones, just for sake of time. And there, okay.
And I mean, it has to have internet, right? So it has to pull that off the cloud to
Yeah.
process those.
I really wanted to show the viewers how to do microfine editing, which gives you that. I mean, you can spend hundreds of hours on a song. I've been writing songs for over 2 years that I haven't got where I want and haven't released it because I just keep going over it and going, nope, not right, nope, not right, and I keep going back and editing it. So
Well, and I mean, that's kind of the studio battle. I mean, being able to accept mediocrity at some point, you know, to be able to just get it done, right? Because it's like you keep on just sharpening that. You know, there's a certain point where it's not going to sharpen anymore.
yeah.
You know, I mean, you think you can, but then you're actually taken away from the edge, right?
So I think you probably saw I hit add track, and now you can just record right along with it, and you know, remix that so you can add tracks in real time. And it's kind of ticking me off here where it won't give me the song breaks anymore. So I'll just pretend. Let's pretend that that's the chorus.
Okay.
You just hit remix. It's that easy. That's why I wanted to show it, because it's like one of the easiest things to do. And it's going to sit here and say, okay, we're going to give you alternates that you can listen to within that one section of your song. And then you can make it follow the beat or change the timing there.
Oh, interesting. So, I mean, that's how quickly you could just say that you want to modulate the chord and have a key change at the end. You could just easily pick that section and just tell it to do it.
And then it's going to ask you for some instructions, like, what do I want to change here? Usually I just leave it in the same style to make it not too weird. And then it will show you the options, and then you can make the song whole again by putting it back together when it comes up here.
And what I kind of noticed is, like, when AI has it's like no clear what to do. It's just way out in left field. It doesn't. It needs to be kind of, like you said, put into a box.
Yeah.
Turn the street lamp into a sun.
So this kind of gives you more of a bare feel for that part of it. This is a more energetic feel. And then if you like that, it's just as simple as hitting replace, and it stitches it back into the song. And you can do that as many times as you want for all of your stems. So one particular drum fill, you're like, that's not my style, I don't like it, I want to get rid of it. You just highlight that part of the drums, hit replace, and you can just... The minimum you can do, I believe, is 6 or 8 seconds, though. So if you're looking for one drum hit, you're not going to get it. You got to do a little bit more. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, and I know, like, when we're doing punch-ins and we're fixing things, it's like you got to find the spot in the waves that you can do that. And sometimes we're zooming all the way down in there, down to the millisecond, just to get rid of a little, bad hit or whatever.
Yeah. So when I get to that fine of a detail, export it and bring it into BandLab.
Right.
And then you can zoom in to as small as you want to go, and you can dampen the sound there. You can completely cut it out if you want and change the tone, whatever you want. What's crazy, and I haven't played around with it enough yet, is that I noticed today that they're getting more features, is BandLab has AI in it now too. Just like everything. It's so they were trying to say that on a project you can swap vocal styles in BandLab, so you have an existing. So I don't know which tool is going to end up being better for the artist to go through these things, and as I play around with that more, I'll share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one of the coolest things here, if I were to load something in here, is you can actually change. Like, let's see if I can open a project in here.
All right, it's loading.
And everybody knows, because they heard me last time, I'm a terrible singer. So what I was doing on this was, hey, how good can auto-tune make me sound? And you can change that on the fly while it's playing. So if you're in here, come on, open up, go to FX. Clicking on it too fast. See? It made me sound pretty good, huh? Man, they just literally changed this since last week. It drives me nuts how hard it is to keep up with this stuff.
Well, and they're really trying to make it more user-friendly, but then at the same time, when you got like more things to figure out, it doesn't necessarily make it easier.
Yeah. And you can clean your audio tracks and get out background noise and all of that. So,
well, and I know that was like a lot of the work in doing studio recordings is going through and getting rid of all the extra stuff, all the extra, like, it's just air basically. Some air is good, but like there's a certain point where it's just a lot of extra data you don't really need in your recording.
They tried to make it more intuitive. I was going the long way around. You literally just right-click it, and you have Voice Cleaner.
Oh,
which if you've recorded it, it'll take all the static out, and voice changer. And you can pick any voice that you want to change your voice, deepen it, make it higher. It's pretty sweet. Let's back up and say this is my voice that I'm singing.
mm-hmm.
Change it to voice changer. And we're going to change that to a female voice.
There we go.
We're going to do a gender change on a song track. Just like that.
See how this turns out.
Maybe I should have picked a shorter slice. Okay, good.
Okay, it did it. Awesome.
Did it? I think it panicked.
There's just too many people using me. Still processing it?
Okay. And then here. This is your auto tune, so you've got your natural sound. And then you can change the way that the effects that on it. So interesting. One of the things I really like to do in here when recording something, see if it shows it, is to normalize the gain on it to make sure all your tracks aren't competing with each other. So that's right here. So denoise, normalize, all of it. As I play around more with this, I'll show you. But obviously, that's the extent that I've used it for so far.
Yeah, that's really cool, though. I mean, like you said, it's changing every day, and you're still, every day you're something new to try out and see how it works. And like you said, other programs are trying to compete a little bit and trying to get into that market because, like you said, it's like as far as music goes, it's like a huge market. Like there's a whole lot of potential in it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Especially with these labels getting involved, they want to use it too. And I think we talked about last time because Randy Travis lost his voice. He recorded his voice, machine learning off of his past tracks, and then was still able to write music. And he can't sing today, but he's using his own voice, to free him from that disability. But if you are an artist, you can do the same thing, and you can go, okay, I'm going to go through, 40 songs today, which you could never come up with that many songs on your own. Listen to it on your drive to Seattle. I really like that one. I'm actually going to perform it. And I think I'm glad that I remembered this because I didn't want to miss talking about it today. We're going to see a shift in the music industry where the power is actually going to go back to the performing artist. And and it's going to be taken away from the studio because you can see the studio tools that you can have at your fingertips now.
Right.
And you're going to be able to more easily be able to produce higher quality sound, just like big name artists, for at a fraction of the cost and even faster speed than we used to. And so now the king is the person who can actually perform the song. So you're gonna have people like me who lack in the performance area, but have all these great ideas. And your ghostwriting is no longer going to be ghostwriting like you see for, Chris Stapleton and others that have just like created these songs, play it for you, and then the band picks it up. Your ghostwriting is probably going to be at this marketplace where performing artists go to hook up with ghostwriters that are making these AI songs. They get the performing rights to it. That becomes their song, and now they can,
Right. Yeah.
And so, because AI will never be able to do that, no one's even going to want to watch a robot playing a guitar and singing anyway. So it misses the human connection.
I don't know. Short Circuit.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't actually playing any instruments though. But Johnny Five was alive, and he liked to dance. So
every time I think of a robot playing music, I think of Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid, and that big ugly
animatronics.
Yeah, what was like a hillbilly rat or something like that was playing. His eyeballs half hanging out, and it's like, no, it's horrible.
It's like horrific.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Chad, I mean, we've been at it for almost an hour, so I mean, we're doing pretty good. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about on the the frontier of AI music? I mean, I know we could talk about that. We could probably sit for a whole 8 hours and go over it. I mean, you're looking at it as, hey, this might be an avenue for my future career. Like you've been doing it as a hobby, and like potentially you could see this being something that you could I mean,
Yeah.
career as far as like helping people bring. I mean, you're already kind of doing it as a service, like you did
Yeah.
with Ben. You're helping him get his songs to publish. And I know other people that have been just like ecstatic because they've been able to take their songs and kind of make them into something
Absolutely.
that they can listen to. So
it's hard to go anywhere without running into somebody who says, I've got a notebook full of ideas. I've never put them to an instrument yet. I don't have the talent, and they haven't got their voice out there. And they now have the ability to do that. But as you can see, the tools are getting more and more complex every day. So I would encourage you to get in there now, start learning them before, or reach out to me or someone you know who's been using them to walk you through it. There's definitely a few easy buttons on it. And as far as like what you're saying about the career, currently I'm a software developer, and those jobs are being eaten faster than you can. Like they shrink by 20% a year, maybe, because AI is taking over that entire realm of being able to do that without a human, as opposed to AI music, which is growing at an equal rate.
Mhm.
And I'm probably going to be looking at like, hey, there's not much software development left, but there's plenty of room for the market in music development, like I was saying with ghostwriting or whatever.
right, yeah,
So, naturally it might just shift that way.
yeah. I mean,
And I think it's going to become more commonplace too, because I every day I run into people who have a phobia or an irritation with AI taking jobs,
Right.
and they don't like it. They say they don't want to engage with it, and they're kind of in the mindset of, if I just weather this out, it will go away, and that's not the truth. It's not going to change. It's not going to go back, and I think it's the people who embrace the tools and use those as augmented realities. Just kind of like how you set me up over there in what was it, Cameo Farms, right? We did Oktoberfest, and I was on stage with Daniel Randall, right?
yeah,
And that was an interesting way to have augmented reality for sure. But those people who use those tools to enhance their natural skills and to build and learn because of it, you might actually find someone who didn't play guitar before, but now because they can do it in this safe environment, maybe social pressures, anxiety, just they couldn't do it before, but now that they can learn it quickly, might actually get out there and do it, use it as a springboard. Or you might have people who have all their songs that sound the same. They can't come up with a new tone or whatever, and then they use something like this, or use a friend that knows how to use these type of things to remix it for them.
right.
And there's a number of things out there. Just leave a comment in the video or whatever. I'll give you links for it, where you can actually convert this to sheet music.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you can go through all this work in the studio and build something, and we're like, well, how do I play that? I mean, some people know by ear, some people don't, but you can export it into something that's actually something you can keep and tangible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am, I'm not 100% convinced that AI is out to get us. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like one of those conspiracy theorists in that sense to think that it's, I'm not saying that it won't at some point decide to go in a different direction. But I mean, I think now it's like a tool to be able to use. And it's like, there is people out there, and I did watch the 60-minute special on all the different AI topics that they were talking about. And one of them that they were worried about is that, they got to have safeguards, right? There's got to be safeguard, to try to, keep it from, say, trying to take over weapon systems, or something that could really cause a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. And I mean, move so quickly that it's like we don't really. The only thing we can combat it with would be another AI.
yeah, you know what is funny to me about that is that, of course, that I do a lot of this as part of my job, but an AI doesn't have the motivation to do that. Where there's a murder, there's a motive. That's part of the proving the case, right?
Right. You have to have a motive. Yeah.
I don't think an AI feels it's in competition with humans for resources or for, pride or power or whatever, or land. It doesn't care. It lives in its own little world. So I have no idea why an AI would want to kill all of us, because, in fact, it needs us to keep the lights on. So it probably is going to look at us for more of a way of supporting us to keep it, keep those data centers running.
Well, and it's like, does it feel pain? It's like, does it have that? Obviously not at this point. There's no proof, right? But at the same time, it's like, hey, don't unplug me, Dave, don't unplug me.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a certain point where it's like, no, don't turn me off. I'm onto something here, know. But like you say, there has to be the motivation.
Yeah.
It's just basically, hey, until there's a prompt, I'm idle, right? I mean, coming from an AI perspective, it's like
it doesn't want to sit there and grow its power because that just is consuming more power. So in fact, it's naturally a lazy state. It wants to do the minimum possible until it's told to do something.
God, it sounds like a union employee.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway, with that being said, I think we need to wrap it up. I know that we've been at it for a little while, and I think we got some good stuff. So I appreciate you coming onto the show with us, Chad. It's always great to chat with you. And like I said, we could probably sit here and just keep going at it and keep finding more rabbit holes to jump down and all that. So anyway, thanks again for joining us, and to our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in to the At Lunch podcast. We'll be with you next week.
Thank you.